I don't know, Patty, would you actually go and do water aerobics at an RV park if that was an activity? I thought we would talk about that and much more in this episode of Travels with Delaney,
the podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back. My name's Patrick.
And I'm Patty.
And we've got Truman here on the old mobile podcast couch, as we like to call it.
Yeah.
Sitting around in our luxurious
Alliance. I don't
Avenue 29RL.
There you go.
And it's brand new. It's a 2024.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, we are enjoying this RV, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
And this
Loving
couch ends up working out perfect for recording this podcast.
It does. It fits pups and us.
Yeah. Bess, on the other hand, has decided to sit over in the theater seating. And
she likes to snuggle by her dog food bowl.
Yeah, she is literally wrapped around her food bowl, sleeping.
She likes to protect it, I guess.
Yeah, strange.
It is strange.
Well, before we get into talking about campground activities,
okay,
we have to do another exciting round of this or that.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you?
I think.
You think? You don't know?
I'm not sure. Oh, nope.
Well,
here we go.
All right, here we go, Patty.
Yep.
I've got my over-the-fire popcorn popper out.
Ooh, yeah.
Which would you rather have?
Mm-hmm.
Buttered popcorn?
Yes.
Or kettle corn?
Ooh, I like both. What a choice. Wowzer. See, you did popcorn over the fire last Friday night,
I
and
did.
It was awesome. People loved it.
I really wanted to make some kettle corn.
Yeah, I know you did. We just ran out of time. I'm going to go with good old popcorn.
The buttered popcorn?
The buttered popcorn.
All right.
That's what I'm going with.
Now, see, I really wanted to do some kettle corn, which really just is a matter of adding some sugar to it once it starts popping. But everybody was enjoying the buttered, and I think I mentioned kettle, and a couple of people turned up their noses.
They did.
And I didn't want to get the sugar in the bowl.
I think we had s'mores going, too, so maybe they thought they just wanted something savory. But
I will say, though, between the s'mores that we were doing and the popcorn
was a hit.
Popcorn was definitely the most popular of the snacks.
And you know, it was so humid last Friday evening when we're out doing this stuff that we have a tray that we lay out all the goodies for the s'more.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how wet the graham crackers got that we had out there. They were so like yucko by the time I cleaned up. That was nuts.
Yeah, it was pretty humid.
Yeah.
It was Thursday night because it was the 4th of
That's
July.
That's right.
And it was
felt like
super,
Friday night.
Yeah, it was super humid. Yeah, I have to be honest. The 4th of July holiday.
My days are all messed up.
It felt like the holiday that would never end.
Yeah, it did. It just kept going and going. Ugh.
Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, we are at Happy Acres Campground in Angle, Indiana.
Yeah.
We seasonal here. I now work here full time in the summer. And so it started on Wednesday, actually, even though the 4th of July was on Thursday.
Well, if you want to get technical, you guys started prepping last Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, because we started getting things around for activities and
what the mowing, how to get that done.
Yeah, we're trying to get mowing done before Wednesday. And Wednesday, I think we had, I understand we're a small campground. We have about 90 total sites with the cabins. But we had like 20, I think, we'll just say 22 check-ins on Wednesday. And I was fully ready.
You were ready.
I was ready for them.
You were on it.
And I sat up there from like 1 until 3:30. Didn't get my first check until 3:30.
He's like, oh,
and
man.
most of those 20 came in probably between about 4 and 6.
Yeah, it was busy then.
And then it was like a mass rolling
trailer line.
Yeah.
It was like a choo-choo train.
And then
kept coming.
On Thursday, which was actually the 4th of July, we had another like 13 or 16.
And
it was just the opposite. They all showed up right at 1 o'clock.
Sure, yeah.
And I think by 3 o'clock, everyone was in the park.
Yep.
And then we had activities on Thursday because it was the 4th.
Right.
We did activities on Friday. We did activities on Saturday.
And then Sunday morning.
And then Sunday morning we had like 33 checkouts.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just felt like with so many, because normally on like Memorial Day and Labor Day, it's Friday, or they check in Friday night, and then you have activities on Saturday and Sunday. So it's like 2 days of activities.
This was boom, boom,
We had
boom.
3 days of activities, and with people rolling in a day early. Woo, it was crazy.
It was crazy, crazy.
Well, anyway, speaking of activities.
Okay.
You and I have been having this conversation
We
for
have.
a while about activities at campgrounds. And are they necessary? Do you book because a campground has activities?
Right.
Or is it what I would say is just something that checks a box? And what I mean by that is when I used to run hotels, we used to always say that almost every hotel in America has a pool. A lot of them look like an oversized bathtub.
Right.
And people used to call us because we didn't have a very big pool when I ran the Auburn Inn. And
oh, no.
But we would get people who would call and say, do you have a pool?
Yeah.
And yet hardly anyone ever used that pool.
Right.
It was like they wanted the pool, but they weren't actually going to use the pool.
Yeah.
And I think we were actually driving between Hilton Head and Pigeon Forge, or maybe it was Pigeon Forge and home. And we started having this discussion like, do you have to have activities at a campground to book it?
Right.
And do you actually use them if you're like, hey, I want activities, but do you actually go do them? You and I, how many activities do we typically do when we're camping?
Not like you mean like where we go and like do a group activity?
Right, like where they have the schedule and it says, like there's a water aerobics at 6 o'clock in the morning and or whatever. We very rarely. Now in Hilton Head,
I can think of that. Well, we were kind of scouting out activities.
We kind of did that because we were scouting for our own campground.
We did a couple things. Yeah.
Right. But in general.
Yeah, in general, no.
No. Now, we don't typically look for activities. No. Meaning when we go to book, we're not like, hey, do you have activities?
I have to have this, yeah.
Because honestly, to us, camping is the activity.
Exactly.
And, like once we're there. Now, we like amenities.
Yeah, see, now, my amenities, I think, have changed over the years because I think now I am definitely in if there's a lazy river.
I know.
I am
we had so much fun in that lazy river at Margaritaville.
And the Margaritaville cart that came around for adults.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Kids chasing the
You don't find either of those at many campgrounds.
No.
But
activities, I don't need them for me.
Yeah.
I don't need them.
So we ran, and part of the reason I said, let's talk about this because we've been having this discussion, and then we're looking at, putting activities on the calendar for the rest of this camping
season. For this
season.
Campground, yeah.
And it's kind of like, how important, because I will tell you, Angie, for those of you who don't know Angie, I talk about Angie like everybody knows Angie.
She's the owner here. She's the big boss lady.
Angie and Kevin Kozik, owners here at Happy Acres Campground. Angie has said that, in the past she scheduled lots of activities, but very few people come to them.
Right.
And they're a lot of work, if for no other reason, the preparation that goes into getting ready for
it. Usually it's like, I call it as teaching the front end. All this stuff you got to do ahead, and then when the activity is like, boom, done.
Yeah.
All this prep, all this stuff ahead of time. You got to get ready for it.
Right. I mean, some of them are, like we do fairly frequently here, a cornhole tournament.
Right.
And that one, there's not a lot of prep. As long as you have the bracket.
Yeah. Oh, my brackets.
Yeah.
Brackets just mess with my brain.
I know. You don't like the brackets.
I get so
But, I mean, that's an easy activity to offer because the only prep is we award the winning team these
little mini cornhole board, right?
Yeah, it's like a little trophy but it's it's a
Angie
cornhole
makes
board.
them, paints them. They're super cute.
Yeah. So Angie has the time to get those painted and ready. And then as far as, it doesn't take long to set up. You and I can set up cornhole boards.
Get the boards out and the bags. And,
and
the measurement, because you got to have official measurement.
And we have Steve who works there with us. Steve has, he made us a rope to quickly measure the boards to get them to 27 feet. But that's an easy one. But then there's other activities. They take some time.
They do.
And
trivia.
We
do. Yeah, it takes a little time.
Yep. And when Angie's done the craft activity, she has to go out and buy all the supplies.
Make sure you have enough for everyone and what you need and clean up stuff and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And when you think about what activities we've been doing, like I said, cornhole is a regular activity here, not every weekend.
Yep.
But I would say at least a couple times a month.
Probably,
because that's a pretty easy one. We've been doing community bonfires where usually that's on a Friday night because we know campers get in. That you get off work, you hitch up,
right?
You head out to the campground, you get in late. and sometimes when we used to do that, we didn't want to make a fire because like I'm just tired.
I'm too
but
tired,
if there was like
yeah.
a community bonfire, you could just walk up, plop your
Sure,
chair down.
absolutely.
And then we always provide the stuff for s'mores when we do the community bonfires.
I think they've been kind of a hit.
I think so.
Yeah.
So those aren't bad. But then, like I said, then we get into sometimes we do the Friendly Feud trivia.
Yeah, that takes a little work.
You know, we're going to try Singo.
That's taking a little work.
That's like bingo.
Bingo, what you sing. No, the song is given to you, and you got to think of the title of the song.
Yeah, we played that in Hilton Head Egg.
That was a blast.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we actually have that coming up here in a couple of weeks for the first time ever. We're going to play a new game called Get Happy.
Come on, get happy.
It's just bingo, but instead of bingo, it's happy. Patty found a really cool site where you can make your own bingo cards.
And we're going to have the folks, when they get a bingo, they got to go, get happy.
Or maybe I'm
happy.
Yeah, something. I don't know. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah.
You know, think about some of the activities we've seen, though. And, you know, I joke about the water aerobics, but we've actually seen that.
We've seen that.
Not at 6 a.m., but they do have
like I think it wasn't at Pigeon Forge, or was it Hilton Head? They had yoga.
Pool yoga.
Or
something
like that. Well, there's always been
I don't know if it was in the pool.
pool
Maybe it was
parties.
On the pool deck. Pool parties. I think pool parties are pretty common at campgrounds because, again, they're a lot of work, but they're easy to do.
Well, and it depends how far you take it because, that's an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Because you have to decide, are you going to have, like, games for kids in the pool or adults or whatever?
Right.
Like, you know, like diving down in the water, finding all the little tokens that they drop in the water or whatever. Or is it just playing some music, hanging out, having a good time? What is it going to be? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so there's different ways you can do the pool part. That's why I said they're easy to do, but they're a lot of work. Because even when we do them here, and we've really just been playing, like,
you make a playlist and we got lucky this last time.
Set up all the equipment.
We had Fire and Ice local folks come over with, and we paid them, of course, but they did their Italian.
Didn't pay them. They actually came on. Free.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they came out for free.
Italian Ice.
But they said they did really well because a lot of people bought Italian Ice from them.
And it was so good.
In fact, they did so well, they're coming back.
Yeah, and it was so hot on Saturday, and it worked well with our pool party, and people loved it, and it was a good addition. So that wasn't hard for us,
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, and I sometimes struggle as I'm putting together the activities. Angie does a really good job. She kind of puts in the big things, and then she leaves the small stuff up to you and I to decide. But I've struggled with getting creative for new things to do. And again, I don't know, how important are they? Because they're a lot of work. You have to have staff.
That's part of the issue. You got to have someone who's able to manage it. Yeah.
And we're a small campground here. We don't have a lot of staff.
A lot of us do multiple things. So,
right.
Yeah.
So, I think that's one of the challenges. I think if you're one of the bigger resorts,
right.
Like we just came from 2 big resorts.
They probably have a staff.
They do. Both places had an activities director, and that I'm sure that was their dedicated job. They were paid to
hire that juggler that we saw when we were in the lazy river.
Yeah. Well, and in fact, when we were at the pool party at Margarita, the activities director introduced a couple other gentlemen there helping her, and she said they're part of our activity team.
Yeah, they have.
So they must have a whole team of people.
Wow.
But they do activities 7 days a week.
They do.
And some of those days were, it was morning to night.
Kind of like when we were to Disney and I helped out with activities. Yeah. There was activities every day.
Yeah.
There was stuff going on every day.
Crafts
and challenges and activities at the pool and different like scavenger hunts and all kinds of stuff going on. Yeah.
We don't do a lot of kid activities here because that's not really our target audience.
Yeah, we try to. The target audience is more adults, adult activities like when Angie has the singers come in the evening and perform.
Live music is very popular here.
It's fun, yeah.
And Angie hires local musicians.
Yep.
And they'll come out and perform for 2, maybe up to 3 hours. And then, Marty from the 6 restaurant brings her whiskey wagon out. People love that, They buy your favorite cocktail and sit down and listen to some
music.
good music.
Yeah, we've had
and they're actually really good musicians.
They have been really good. Yeah. And this last week, I think that was a cool one. She had a meat cook-off contest.
Yeah, we had the meat cook-off last weekend.
Yeah. and people
But again,
enjoyed that.
6 people participated.
That's right. It wasn't, yeah.
90 units.
And wasn't it, do you know, hun, was it seasonal folks?
No, actually, the winner was a group of nightlies
up on the skybox.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
yeah, so it's always a variety because sometimes a lot of the seasonals do all the certain things, like they do all of the where we have entertainment, or they do all the pool parties. But it's always interesting to see, who's there and what's going on.
Yeah, I do enjoy looking at the mix on activities of. Who's actually coming to them, and it does seem to vary on what the activity is.
Right.
But the other thing is, and Angie and I were talking about this the other day, is over the 4th of July, we noticed a lot of people did not come to the activities because they were doing their own activities at their sites. Meaning, what we saw was a lot of like families or groups camping together, and you just see these big bonfire. And I said not big as in the fire was big, but
lots
big
of people.
circle, around, and just
like what we used to do years ago when all of us went camping, all the family went camping together. And I know some of the nightlies had their own cornhole boards or activities they were doing with their kids.
Right.
They had, like we used to take stuff like that when we camped. Your sister would take stuff, but yeah, it was interesting to see. If I think folks like to come, like especially here, and there's pickleball. They like to do that. There's disc golf.
Right.
They like to do that. A lot of the kids lately, and I just saw some group walk by here while I'm sitting here. They had their fishing poles.
Right.
And the catch and release. It's just like kind of more just what's already here, nothing that has to be like managed per se. Yeah.
It almost makes you wonder, like, if we just stop doing activities,
what would happen?
Yeah,
we wondered that too. Would it matter?
Would it affect occupancy?
Yeah.
Because it goes back to, if a hotel doesn't have a pool, would you not stay there because they didn't have a pool, regardless of whether you're going to swim there? Do you have to have at least some activities to check a box in people's minds?
Right. So they go, oh, yeah, I'm looking at this. Oh, they have activities. And they have this. Oh, we have to go there. But then they don't do any activities.
Yeah. Because I've had people, say like, oh, that sounds like that. Oh, that's going to be fun. And then they don't show up for the activity. It's like, and I think sometimes mentally just knowing it's available.
Right.
And so maybe we need to continue doing activities.
I don't know.
But for us, honestly, that has never crossed our mind.
No, it's not even a factor.
In picking a campground?
Yeah. No. It's not even anything. I'm like, oh, all right, they got it. Doesn't mean it doesn't matter one way or the other to me.
I think we did an episode where we talked about how we pick campgrounds.
We did.
And we talked about things like cleanliness and safety, security.
That's a big, those first two things are the big ones.
But activities is definitely not
no
on the list. And honestly, I mean, even when a campground has a pool, we don't use it a lot.
But see, now that lazy river is going to be on our list.
That lazy river. If only Disney had a lazy river.
Oh, if only Disney had a lazy river.
Would it be in the shape of Mickey Mouse?
That would be cool.
Wouldn't that be a cool lazy river?
Yeah, nice.
I don't know. Kevin keeps saying he wants to put in a lazy river here. But
yeah. I think he's got big plans for one. It's very intricate.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to pull that one off.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little out of Angie's budget.
I think so. I think, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I don't know. I just, we've been having this discussion. I said, why don't we go ahead and discuss this
factor
on the podcast?
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear all of your opinions on, do activities play a part in will you book?
Just sitting here thinking, we don't have any children.
That brings up
and that might be what some people with children, they want activities to keep them occupied and not drive the parents crazy.
That is such an interesting point that you bring up at this point of the podcast. I'm starting to wrap it up, and you just opened up a whole can of worms because you're right. We don't have children.
We just have puppies, fur babies.
Right.
And they don't need activities.
No.
They just need a good walking path.
But if you have children, does that impact?
Does that matter? Right.
And our campground, and I say ours, meaning where we work and live.
Yep.
We don't cater to children.
Mm-mm.
But if you were let's say a Jellystone or a KOA,
they do,
or even a Margaritaville that definitely still caters to kids, even though it's also an adult type
kid. Yeah.
like how. Yeah. Oh, Patty.
Ooh, I put a zinger in
put
there.
a zinger in
Oh,
there.
sorry.
So we might see that in some of the comments where people may say,
Kids.
activities are very important because we have kids. Because then all of a sudden the activities look a lot different than what we do here.
Exactly.
Because then you're doing things like tie-dye, T-shirts, and sandcastle building.
I remember at Disney we had art time and game board time, and we had scavenger hunts and pool parties and competitions in the pool.
They don't typically do bourbon tasting at Disney.
No, they don't either.
Yeah.
That should be an adult activity, right?
Yeah, well, we were gone, but Angie did have a bourbon tasting here on National Bourbon Day.
Right.
We missed it.
I mean, the planting thing, that was an adult thing where we made planters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between adult activities versus kid activities. And maybe if you have kids, again, we've never had kids.
No.
At least not the kind with 2 legs.
We have 4-legged.
Yeah, we have the 4-legged kind. And so maybe that would be a huge one. So let us know in the comments. I am so curious to hear, like how important are they? And do you even ask that when you call to book a reservation? And why do people call to book reservations when you can do it online? But that's a whole nother
a whole nother
podcast. We might have to talk about that because I've been asking that question because I have taken a ton of reservations this week when I've been in the office, and I'm like, what I want to say, and I don't say this, but
you can book online.
You can book online. You don't have to talk to me.
You don't need to talk to a human. It works out great. It's perfect.
Whole different story. All right, everyone.
Well, sorry to put that clinker in there. It just came to my brain.
No, I'm glad you did. I think that because otherwise somebody would have said that, and so I'm glad you threw that out.
My brain was working.
It was working. Speaking of people working, how about Mr. Jim Kuzman?
He's always working.
He's our friend. He's our producer, and he's the one that makes sure our audio is pitch perfect.
Poor guy has to listen through these things.
I know. How many times do you think he goes through while editing?
Slaps his head like, oh, no.
He probably is so sick of us. But thank you, Jim. And thank you to all of you for either listening on your favorite podcast platform or if you're watching us on our dedicated YouTube channel, Travels with Delaney, the podcast.
Yes, oops.
Yeah, Patty, that's your line.
I missed it.
But we appreciate all of you.
Yeah.
And until next time, everybody, we'll see you.
On down the road.
Bye.
Bye.
Travels with Delaney. We'll see you on down the road.